Good morning and welcome back to the AMEDD Effect Podcast, where we discuss the causes and effects of Army medicine opportunities, along with information and resources readily available for military families on Army installations. We call this Army Life. Today's Army Life episode will focus on the Warrior Warehouse, and I have Miss Amy Grimm, founder of the Warrior Warehouse on Fort Knox, in the studio with me here today. In 2015, Amy was here at Fort Knox, and she created this amazing opportunity and program to aid military families in need. This will lead to the formation of the Warrior Warehouse. Everyone, please welcome Miss Amy Grimm to the show. How's it going for you today?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Man, no problem. Thanks for you stopping in and talking to us about the Warrior Warehouse and everything that you all do for the soldiers here on post and those here within the Fort Knox community. Yeah. Now, from my understanding, the Warrior Warehouse is a people-first movement. And it's like the lending closet that they have on other installations, but the difference with the Warrior Warehouse, people do not have to return the items that they receive from you all.
No, sir.
Now, this program was designed to help soldiers, retirees, veterans, and civilians with day-to-day household needs, such as uniforms, bicycles for transportation, clothing, shoes, and educational resources, along with a whole bunch more. Yeah. First, let me say thank you for taking time out of your day to come, stop in, and speak with us here at the AMEDD Effect. For people who don't know about the Warrior Warehouse, can you give us a brief description about how you got this created, why you wanted to get it created, and how it has been going for you since 2015?
Well, we started out. I was volunteering at the Red Cross office, and just seeing the needs and the soldiers coming and going and not having the same amenities at Fort Knox as there are at other posts. I was a previous Air Force family member, and we had, on every military installation, we had a airman's attic. So for PCS season, it wasn't that stressful. You could drop it on your way out, you could get to the next stop, and everything that you need, you can then, refill your space or meet your family's needs with. A good example is I went from Guam to Alaska, and I had planned to be in Guam for 2 years, had my son's shorts till he was 2 years old. Well, that didn't work out. The day we got there, they transitioned into the civilian world, and so we were basically said, you can come, you'll be part of the transition team, and then we're going to PCS you guys to Alaska. So here I am with a little infant and all his shorts heading to Alaska. Well, I left the shorts in Guam, and they said, you know what, you get there, you'll find an airman's attic, and then we were able to get all of the things so I would not make a popsicle baby happen. And so it worked out perfect. And so when we got here, I said, May, we have this resource of a plethora. Knox is top heavy, right? So that means they have stuff. And when we got here, the housing was a lot smaller. We're a historical post, so that your housing is a lot smaller than other posts. And so when you're thinking about like what you're going to move, what you're not going to move, people get here and they're like, it doesn't fit. So what do we do with this stuff? Well, this would be it'd be a great opportunity to make this happen for families that are transitioning in, or maybe they got married and went from the barracks to the housing. And then it just has blown into this awesome resource where we take up a full bay that used to be a 3-1 complex when the tankers were here. So it's a super large warehouse that we've able to absolute max out to where we have to put the furniture out back. We're so full, and it's a huge blessing. So with all that growth came like, how do we pass these blessings in the most soldier friendly way, right? So we said we're going to do this E6 and below shop for free because Knox is top heavy. We don't have a ton of E4 and belows. So we started the E6 and below movement, and ever since then we have doubled every year as far as the patrons that we're able to assist. And we've been able to, my husband retired here in 2017, so I didn't have to move and quit something that was super awesome.
Right.
And now it's my mission to see if the Army can get this on every post. If it's not, and if it's not through the Red Cross, we'll find other venues. Most posts will have like the Armed Services YMCA offices. So there would be a continuity piece to every post. So if, soldiers that have to PCS, they don't have to worry about like, oh man, I started this thing and now I've got to go. There would be a permanent party there to take care of it.
Okay. Let's give a round of applause to Amy for everything that she has done to get this started. This is an amazing program, and we're going to get more into this. Now, when Christy and I came over to visit you at the Warrior Warehouse, I saw items that soldiers and families, could benefit from. Like you just stated, you had the furniture. You guys have grown so big, you have the furniture outside,
Right.
Outside of the warehouse, and then you have a whole bunch of stuff as you go inside it or as you come inside. You informed us that some of your items come from PSCing soldiers and other programs like the DAV, Active Heroes, and Boots Across America. Yeah. Talk about these programs and the items that they provide to the Warrior Warehouse and how they're beneficial for the families here on the installation.
Yeah, so part of our mission here is to help bridge the gap between the community and the soldier. And the community is full of retirees, and Kentucky, unfortunately, has a ton of poverty-stricken areas that can benefit from the excess. So like we were talking about, our mission is going to be those E6 and below first. However, need knows no rank. We literally had a colonel's household goods catch on fire on the way through. And so we covered him. 06 didn't matter, a need's a need. So then we reach out to these community partners. The DAV is a unique one. That's typically for our retirees, but fortunately, we've had 2 active duty families that needed wheelchairs for their special needs kids. And the DAV out of Columbus has partnered with us to bring us electric wheelchairs that are everything from your little hover round to the super expensive special needs one that they'll recline, they can go up so people can reach the top of the fridge, things like that. So the active duty members, from what I'm understanding, and I'm not sure, this could have changed, but they're only allowed like 2 wheelchairs in the growth portion of their child's years under 18. So having an opportunity to get something in between, or possibly the electric that's not just a manual wheelchair, was something that was super helpful for our active duty families. But that's typically something we push for the retirees. The Boots Across America, they partner with Amazon, and they get the boots donated and shoes donated to them. They take what they need for their mission, and everything that's excess, they'll donate to us, and we're able to pass those back. Typically, we try to do that around the beginning of the school year, so we can give new shoes to the kids, the soldiers' kids before they go to school. And what was the other one?
The other one was Active Heroes.
Oh, Active Heroes. That's the coolest one, and this one affects the most. This is active duty only, and typically we do push this stuff to the E6 and below. But then once that's done and they've tapped out, it's amazing to see how every demographic and age group from specialists to general can still find what they want or need out of these items, because the stuff that us older folks want isn't what the baby soldiers need, so, and I call them baby soldiers and they're not baby soldiers, but it's a way to verbalize the difference between somebody who's been in a long time and somebody who hasn't.
Right. I understood.
That's definitely not to be disrespectful or anything.
Now, you talked about how you all start with the E6s, but before you start with the E6s and below, it begins with emergency.
Absolutely.
First. Break down the mission for those who are just now learning about that program.
So your emergency is everything from, like I said, the colonels at household goods that caught on fire on the way here, or we had the coolest moment where we were able to help this soldier that was PCSing from Alaska to Fort Knox and had wrecked his car in North Dakota or South Dakota, one of the two, and his wife got on the Fort Knox spouses page and said, hey, this is just what happened. Is there a place I can go to get uniforms? My husband's uniforms were in the trailer that got wrecked. I needed dog cages for my animals because they were it was an SUV pulling a small trailer.
Okay.
And so the trailer, got messed up in the wreck. And people were tagging us right from the get-go to the point where that kid's leadership messaged me and said, hey, I think that's my soldier. I'm going to need his information, and so we were able to tie that knot pretty awesomely. But so those are the emergencies. And then down to, we have so much that we've opened it to the local foster families and kinship placement. And, hey, I got this kid dropped off on my front porch and got kicked out of his house and they has nothing. We're able to assist in those ways all month long. In fact, I was late to this interview because I had 2 drop right before I got in the car. So it comes in that quick. But now we've gotten a system down to where we have the soldiers that volunteer on post. We give them access to after hours. So if somebody does have an emergency case, down to the MPs needed a place to pick up a car seat for a child that had to be removed from a situation. They came over and got a car seat. It's just a resource for so many different venues. But that emergency moment, it's a wide variation of what you would say is an emergency. A lot of your medical folks may come over from overseas, or maybe they came from a city spot where here we're going to need little different items. While they're waiting for their household goods to get here, send them in. We're happy to help at any rank when you first get here while you're waiting for your household goods. And the cool thing about it is it's a big circle of giving. So when you're done with it, you pass it back. If you need it, you keep it. Other than that, I mean, you'd be amazed. We've got some pretty cool stuff to pass.
Now, when we came over and spoke with you as well, you had mentioned the people PSCing. They were coming from Germany, and it took their things longer to get here. So they needed these things. They needed all types of things, and you all were able to support them there at the Warrior Warehouse. How often do you all see situations like that?
Through PCS season, it's daily. And that's typically what I used to say, May through October, but it's almost February now when things start happening. And I think the social media side of things and having an opportunity like this gives people a heads up to where they can plan ahead. Right. And they'll say, hey, I'm on my way from Germany and I am going to need ABCD. And oh, by the way, do you take these items? They got put in my household goods and I know that they're European. And I say absolutely, because there's somebody in your shoes heading on back.
Heading over there, yeah.
So yeah, it happens on the daily, and we're happy to help. In PCS season, we almost need them to come in and help us take a little bit off, because the pressure cooker, we fill up so fast that sometimes we do 2 a month opportunities to come and shop. Okay. Just because we just get so much, which is a good problem to have.
Right. Now, earlier you spoke about some of the community assistance programs and working with some of these different programs off of the base. You have had the opportunity to build and maintain those relationships with programs such as the VA Crisis Casework, Clarity Solutions, Silverleaf, and Samantha's Hugs, and more. Right. And there's a few more. That's just to name a few. But describe how you found these programs and the products and services that they provide or that you all provide for them.
Well, I can't take all the credit myself. We've got an amazing team at the Warrior Warehouse. When we come into these pressure cooker moments where we're full and we have put in the hours to sort it, put it on a hanger, and organize it on the floor, the last thing we ever want to do is pull it back off. So I said, all right, team, let's think about it. Let's figure out our community-based programs that we know that we could possibly support, and just had a few volunteers call around and say, hey, these are the items we have. Is there an opportunity where we can help you with your program? And that's where those relationships were founded. It's pretty simple, but now that we've been doing it long enough, Clarity Solutions is it's a new parent program downtown, and I think the baby clothes multiply when I leave at night, because they are always there.
Always got some baby
and that's kind of your first need, right? if you never had a kid before and you don't know where you're at, and that's typically our military folks, right? They're not next door to mom. They don't have auntie down the road. So let us be that moment where we can help you with these items.
So that would be kind of like our baby soldiers, huh?
Yeah, those little baby soldiers.
And their families.
Yeah.
Understood.
It's pretty cool.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. Now, one thing that you also talked about is recycling and repurposing a lot of the items that you all have. Talk about why the Warrior Warehouse is a great opportunity for individuals to recycle, but for people to be able to come in, grab some things, and repurpose.
Absolutely. So the last thing we want to do, is put it in the landfill. And it breaks my soul when I hear, oh, man, I just heard about you. We just threw it all away. Like, oh, man, where'd you throw it away? I'll go get it. Not really, but you know what I mean? That's where we're at. Let's still be earth friendly through this process. And Fort Knox is, I believe, one of the greenest posts in the Army.
Oh, yeah?
As far as energy efficiency and making sure that things are disposed of properly.
Right.
And so this being an opportunity for somebody to recycle it by passing a blessing is what we call. It's a no-brainer. Just pass it on over. And sometimes they'll be like, I don't know if you take this. Household cleaners, that's a good one. That's really bad to throw in your trash can. I don't know if they still teach that in school, but I think everybody knows chemicals in your trash is not good. But if it's an opportunity that, somebody else could use what's left, we can pass it and, it can be thrown away and discarded when it's all gone.
That's great. That's great, man. Let's give a round of applause for that as well. Recycling and repurposing. Let's talk about the year 2022 and how the Warrior Warehouse assisted families here on the installation. Talk about the success that you all had with the program. I think you all were pretty much coming out of, everybody was coming out of COVID, and you all had an amazing year. Talk about that year that you all had in 2022.
Yeah, so coming out of COVID was kind of, for everybody else, raw, like you had to ease back into it, but we never shut down. We still had a need on the daily. At this point, this is when families were like, if it was broken before, it was probably real broken after. And so that meant, we went from unable to operate in a public setting to how to figure out how to do it without it. And then 22 rolls around where we actually had full PCS seasons coming back because everything was frozen for a while. And it ended up being a year we doubled. Like that was the first time we saw double numbers coming through. And it solidified the moment that we need this program.
Right.
And it's something that benefits families of all ranks.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's definitely good. I think it does affect everybody in a positive way. And I think that it's amazing that everything was able to double for you all. And for you all to just provide even more resources, because now you have, I'm pretty sure after 2022, you all probably picked up more community support, more resources, more programs willing to donate, because now people are probably PCSing and then going and they're talking about, hey, the Warrior Warehouse at Fort Knox. So people are probably, let me look this up real quick. And they're jumping on and they're seeing everything too. So because word of mouth, is going to travel. And that's like the best marketing and advertising that you all could have. So I'm pretty sure with helping people, that word has spread around.
And that's the only advertisement we're allowed to do is word of mouth. And then day of, like if at the end of the month, we have to have a purging yard sale. And I call it a yard sale because we offer it for free to the E6 and below first on Thursday evening. So it's an after duties opportunity. So we even make it as easy as possible for y'all to come and get these blessings. Then the E7 and above and the officer corps come in at 7 o'clock and shop till 8.
Okay.
Usually there's an entry item, and then it turns into, we call that a pre-shop, right? You're getting in before the veterans on Friday, the retirees on Friday, and it's giving you an after hours opportunity. So come in with your game plan, get what you need on Thursday night, and then Friday and Saturday, we open it up as a donation-based yard sale. It's a suggested donation of fill a grocery cart for a $20 donation. Okay. The furniture out back, let's make a deal. Typically what it is, if we have to throw a number on something, we call it a $2 donation across the board. It doesn't matter if that's a dresser or a bicycle or whatever, just to throw it out there and give it, just to let people know, like, it's that affordable. Like, and if you need it, we'll give it to you for free. If there's no opportunity for you to pay or funds are tight, by all means. We also help out all of the units on post. They've had to set up lactation rooms and study rooms. We're happy to help out. So if there's anybody who needs stuff for their Army mission, we're absolutely there for that as well.
Now, I also read that you all also help out with the Bluegrass Challenge Academy here that's on Fort Knox as well. Talk about how you all provide services for them.
Well, the Bluegrass is kind of a unique thing. It's a military-based school for kids that they may or may not be in a troubled situation, but it's their moment to be able to catch up on their school credits.
Right.
And some of them have community service hours they have to obtain while they're there. We're absolutely at that spot where you can utilize your community service hours. You can come volunteer with us. Also, some kids come in with nothing. So we give them the shoes and the clothes, and then they have a cool little intramural league that they play sports with. So we help them out with the cleats and the baseball gloves and things like that, and then of course the uniforms. Right, it's military based, and they are looking for all the uniforms that the soldiers are passing on. So it gives us another recycle, repurpose option to make sure that doesn't end up in the landfill.
Man, that's great. Yeah. Now, the warehouse is full of amazing items, but it also is full of staff. Your staff comes in, they help you organize, they bring things in so they can keep the program operational. Tell us a little bit about your staff and amazing things that they do.
It's a variation of amazing humans, whether they're retirees, active duty, the spouses, you name it. We've got school kids. I want to say it was 22-23 school year that I had 2 senior interns for their first 2 periods of their day. They would come in and help me open, and that was something that they were working on for their senior project. And the Beta Club kids, there's a lot of people that need, a lot of organizations that need extra hours for their kids or soldiers. If we're trying to get like promotion points for those, I believe it's E6 and below, that can get promotion points through that volunteer ribbon, we are absolutely there to help out with that. But our main core is spouses and retirees and active duty. My active duty folks, they'll come in either before work because I get there at 7 in the morning, or they'll come in at lunch, put a cart away, and boogie. I mean, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 3 hours, whatever you've got. Post is pretty supportive. If you tell your supervisor or leadership that you want to volunteer and come help out over there, Garrison has done amazing things for me in ways of like supporting and telling the other organizations on post, this is an opportunity for your soldiers to come and help. This is a Soldiers Helping Soldiers program, so here's your moment to hop in, and every little bit counts.
Now, how can somebody who is now listening to this episode, donate to the program, become an affiliate to the program, or even just simply come in and help you volunteer?
I encourage everybody who's coming to Fort Knox to make this one of your stops when you first get in. Before your household goods show up, come check it out. It's going to give you ideas of how to set your house up, where to donate your items that you don't need, where to pick up items you may need, and put your name in the hat for volunteering if you've got an opportunity. Typically it's just come on in.
Just come on in.
The magic starts by hitting the door. Yeah.
Well, great. You guys hear that. If you're listening to this episode, make sure that you reach out to Ms. Grimm, and you can provide provide your services, whether that is some items that you would like to donate, whether that is you want to come in and volunteer to help keep the place organized. Make sure that you reach out to Ms. Grimm for all things Warrior Warehouse Base. Now, Ms. Grimm, before we get out of here, is there anything else that you would like to leave the listeners and viewers with?
You'll be amazed. Fort Knox is pretty cool. I would have never said this West Coast girl was going to jump off in Kentucky. But man, it's beautiful and you're going to love it.
Now, do you all have any social media, Instagram, Facebook pages where they can find you at, that people can go search for and follow you?
Yeah, so if you haven't gotten here yet, this is a great opportunity to start. We have a Facebook group. It's called Fort Knox Warrior Warehouse, and there's a big red cross as our picture. That's the only social media that will allow me to upload 70 to 80 pictures at a time,
right,
so
yeah.
that's pretty much the only one we have. But definitely check it out, join the group, and you can kind of, scroll through and see how it works in the past. We post a flyer every month that gives you the breakdown of what time and when everybody can shop. That last week of the month is our sale week. That's your free shop and your pre-shop and all the things. That's when everything's got to go because we're starting fresh the next month, and we need it to go. So come and get it. Don't just drop it. That's the key.
That's the key. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and speak with us here at the AMEDD Effect. This is the Army Lifestyle, where we talk about all the resources that are available for those individuals on an Army installation, specifically here at Fort Knox. Thank you, and we appreciate you.
Thanks.
Hopefully we get some more people to come out and see you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. The causes and effects of Army medical opportunities are endless. When you join the U.S. Army Medical Department, not only will you get more out of your medical career, but you will also provide meaningful service to soldiers, their families, military retirees, and last but not least, your country. To learn more about AMEDD, visit goarmy.com/AMEDD. That's goarmy.com/AMEDD. And if you're looking for information on tuition assistance, visit goarmy.com/HPSP. That's goarmy.com/HPSP.